What's up, guys? It's Justin and Lewes here to take a look at Hyperlight Drifter.
Ho, Hyperlight Drifter. What a game.
What a game indeed. It's out on the PC and it's coming to consoles soon. And we're just gonna jump right into this thing. Justin, tell me, what is Hyperlight Drifter?
Oh man, how do you describe this game? I've done it a lot of times, but I feel like I find a new way to do it.
Yeah, slightly varied every time.
It's like, I don't know. It's like your Super Nintendo, like a mix of Secret of Mana plus a little bit of like the exploration of Link to the Past, but with the combat of Ninja Gaiden.
Okay. Sounds good.
I don't know. The combat really sticks out to me.
Yeah, the combat, I think, and the exploration are kind of the two big, like, major components of gameplay in this game.
Yeah.
So this is our house. Took a look. You can unlock a variety of outfits, which I have not unlocked most of. And then I guess that little hologram is basically the only direction you get towards your objective in the game, which is to get these little triangular objects to fill up a thing in this town. Here we can get a little look at the combat. This is a upgrade shop for your melee abilities. Justin, which of these did you like the best?
I thought compared to the dashing upgrades, all three of those were kind of meh.
Okay.
Maybe the charge one's not bad, but like this here is like meat.
Yeah.
Of the upgrades. And that first one is real good.
Yeah, that's the money upgrade. I only got that one for the dashing, and then I ended up getting I see there's a dash shield there.
Yeah.
What I got in lieu of that was there's a sword reflect bullets ability that I decided to pick up.
Yeah. I had gotten that the dash shield one, and I'm still not quite sure how it triggers, because it only comes out when projectiles are near.
Yeah.
But I don't know how near they have to be for it to actually come out.
Okay.
I also didn't like the way that the projectiles reflect off that power up.
Okay.
Except for this. My question is, so in this game there are two upgrades that kind of prompt off of the X square combination. There's that one here, which is kind of like a dashing stab, and then there's another one that's kind of like you dash and then you slash everything in your path.
Okay.
Behind you. Which one of those did you get?
Neither.
Nice.
Yeah. I think I just, for whatever reason, ended up keeping it pretty. I think I ended
stationary.
I upgraded a gun first of all, and then I upgraded my ball. I got the bomb thing, which I ended up liking a lot. So this is the place where you put your triangles on this big black pad. You can see this is a late game save because it's all filled in. So just pay no mind to that. Down here at the bottom, we've got a gun upgrade shop and the other shop is the bomb shop, right? Where you get the bomb ability. So I think the guns, you just get extra ammo for every gun, right?
I think it's...
more shots, I think. That's it.
Yeah.
There's a variety of different guns that you get throughout the course of the game. I think I have, like half of them there? It's,
yeah, like 3 or 4.
Yeah, less than I expected out of the total. That bomb's really good for crowd control. Helps thin out the numbers a lot.
I wouldn't know. Yeah, I never used it.
Walking around town, there's this one NPC. I think this guy's kind of like a drunk homeless man. He appears to be inebriated.
Yeah, I think the big thing here is he seems to be the same race as you.
Yeah.
Or same species. One of spoilers, one of very few you see in this game.
Yeah.
Species. Didn't really explain that though.
Yeah, I didn't even actually pick up on that until right now. That he's the same like type of person as you.
I guess going off of that, this game doesn't really tell you much for story, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty open-ended in terms of there's a pretty wild cutscene to open things up, but feels pretty ambiguous. You know, easy own goal. It's I guess like the easiest comparison to draw from in current game landscape is, I hate to use this comparison, but Dark Souls.
Yeah. We talked about this already.
Yeah, it's very just like open to interpretation, not very clear exactly what's going on, etc.
Much like the game, the subject itself.
Yeah. Don't pay any attention to this soccer business because this is a train wreck. Yeah, and
It's a nice mini game, but it's really tough.
yeah, it's so hard. Yeah, throughout town, I guess the big thing kind of in town is the big plate that's kind of your progress measure. The town's to upgrade stuff. You can upgrade your health in this shop. And there's a lot of emphasis on secret areas in this game. One way to unlock such secret areas is a variety of doors that require keys. The key door here was down by the NPC that we talked to. I think it takes like 12, and I have, I think, 4 on my save as of now. And so there's lots of secret areas to come back to. This is money that we found in this box. Did you kind of click into what that was right away, or?
No
Okay.
idea.
I think I had gone to the shops before I had like set out, so I recognized the symbol. I was like, "Oh, this looks like the thing that you need to get money." And then I realized you had to get 4 of those to make one, like, air
One
quotes,
money.
dollar. And I was like, "Oh crap, this is gonna be a thing." So currency is pretty uncommon.
I had thought it was an upgrade, some kind of upgrade material, because in the early game, the places where they put them are very inconvenient places.
Yeah.
Especially in the early level. If you go east first,
Yeah.
they put them at some pretty nasty places.
Yep. Here's a look at the.
So I didn't
go
include.
ahead. Yeah. Just look at the inventory screen. Easy peasy. You can see which upgrades you have. You can hot swap your guns out over there. See how much money you have, etc., etc. All pretty straightforward. And then we've got ourselves a nice overworld map. You can see 4 areas. Which area did you like the best, Justin?
Ooh, man. Aesthetically, definitely east.
Okay.
I think difficulty-wise, I think south or west.
Yeah.
I was not a fan of north.
I ended up going west first, so I don't know if this colors my opinion, but
Yeah.
I ended up liking the west a lot in terms of aesthetic and enemy types and music and like the whole deal.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I guess
That's right. You mentioned you went west for no particular reason other than your OCD kicking in, right?
left to right, baby. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna jump back in time actually a little bit to earlier from the save file, and this is the aforementioned east area. There's
And visuals here are gorgeous.
yes, and the music to go with choice.
Yeah. Cannot get over it.
Yeah, man.
Like, it sets the mood so perfectly.
Yeah. The soundtrack in this game, we should mention, is absolutely phenomenal. So it's done by Disaster Piece, and I guess he's done Things of note that he's done include Fez and the movie It Follows.
Oh, makes sense. Or the Fez is a big. I could definitely hear it.
Yeah. Never played it, so I wouldn't know. All right, we're finally going to get into the nitty gritty of this. Some combat.
Oh, man. Those guys are no fun.
Those green blobby dudes are a mess.
So let's say figure this out.
Here we go. A lot of this goes on in the earlier stages, I found.
Kind of playing around the environment a bit.
Yup.
Thin them out one by one.
Bait and pulls, man.
Mark of a Dark Souls player.
Yeah, and then you just dash off to the side and take damage. No big deal.
I used to don't die and leave a blood spot, right? For everyone to see.
Yeah. So, like, I guess it's basically... Standard is a 3-hit combo. So it sort of functions like, I guess it, like, sort of functions like a stamina meter if you're making a comparison, again, to something like Dark Souls.
Kinda, yeah.
And this is the aforementioned triangles that you have to collect. The modules which unlock the way forward.
The Quadraforce of power, or whatever, what have you.
A lot of diamonds in this game. Diamonds and squares divided into 4s and 8s.
I think what's not indicative here for the combat is that so the way to play this is really slow, methodical, and smart. Typically, like in the beginning, it's real rough. You're not really used to the spawns, and everyone's just spawning on you, and the game is struggling a little bit to keep up.
Yeah.
I think this game runs at a constant 30, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah.
I know that was a big contention with back when this game was still on Kickstarter. It was a kind of big point contention because the developer was first saying, yeah, we can get this at 60 just fine. And later on, they had to lock it down to 30. I think this game was like gorgeous on 60, but
Yeah, I agree.
if it's at 30 and it looks this good, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Hey, Justin, you think that has anything to do with engine limitations? I know they used one of your favorite engines of all time to make this game.
Yes, they did use Game Maker Studio.
I don't know much about that. What is that?
It's just like a kind of like a, I don't want to say starter engine. I think that might be a little condescending for it, but it's one of the prevalent game engines that people use to make 2D games like this quickly.
Yeah.
Big game to note of this is Hotline Miami.
Okay.
It's made on Game Maker. A myriad of other ones I unfortunately can't think of off the top of my head. But like, I know that 60 frames is possible on this.
Okay.
I wonder if maybe just when you include later on in the game the amount of enemies on the screen, it gets pretty tough, and they'd rather just keep it locked as opposed to having a variable frame rate.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
Understandable, because it gets pretty hectic.
Yeah, and I'd definitely rather have a frame rate that's consistent than start at 60 and have it go all over the place later on.
What we saw just now is kind of an example of going off the beaten path a little bit. And you'll be doing that a lot in this game. This clip doesn't really show you a lot of big spoilers, but get used to looking around a little bit. The camera purposely kind of moves you kind of like away from where you're supposed to go sometimes.
Yeah.
Or like it'll move forward a bit more quickly than if you had gone slower. You would have seen like a hidden path. Spoilers, run into walls.
Yeah.
You'll want to.
There's usually a visual cue to indicate that there might be a hidden path, but I don't think always.
Yeah, I don't think so as well.
And there's a lot, like even just finding these modules that you need, like this pathway that I just took to get to that one that's all that's there. But I think it's nice usually, like if it's a dead end area, it's usually not too long, and for the most part stuff will loop around back on itself.
Yeah,
which is nice. Here's another one of those NPCs.
Yeah, you really like this when you first ran into it. I remember you were telling me.
Yeah. There's several of these throughout the game, and I thought they were all really, really cool. There's one in particular in the west. Or no, that wasn't even a pictorial scene speaking with anyone. There was just this example of environmental storytelling in this tree hollowed out to be a home. And I know I think we mentioned this on podcast, but I had kind of like this pretty detailed interpretation of what I was looking at that I don't think you had considered all of those possibilities. Yeah, and I thought it was a really, really cool like little touch in that area. Just sometimes you just gotta chill out and listen to the tunes. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Back to the storytelling, I really like how this game really uses the less is more technique. They don't, we saw there are no words, no text in this game. Really just leverages those short like vignettes, if you will, and a really solid soundtrack and endearing pixel art. In a way that I grew an attachment to the characters in the game without reading a single word.
Same here. And I think there's a couple like pretty powerful moments throughout the game, and it shows that you can tell even if it's a story that's like somewhat ambiguous at times, or there's no talking, so you don't necessarily always know exactly what's going on. You can still have affecting moments in it regardless, and man, this game did a good job of showing that.
So, going to the difficulty, how hard did you say this game was to pick up?
Man, I feel like I grabbed onto it pretty quick. It was a little tough at the beginning, and then even once I conceptually had a good idea of how to play, I was still maybe struggling with execution at times, especially in areas like this is not even like an extreme example, but this is one of those examples where you just get stuck in a very small space with a lot of enemies coming at you.
Yeah.
And there are instances that are way worse than this. So you really have to get a feel for like how to use your dash and where you can take your dash, where you are safe. Like we've talked about, at least between us and I think on the podcast as well, that there's no iframes when you're dashing. So like a dash through is not a viable strategy. You actually have to go around enemies in order to not get hit.
And then later on, with the dash upgrades, the ones that allow you to dash multiple times, you can dash into a wall and it puts you into a stun.
Yeah,
that's rough. Leads to a bunch of deaths on my side. I felt really dumb about.
Yeah, I never really got the hang of the multi-dash thing until I had finished a good chunk of the combat scenarios in the game.
Right.
I think I was just like not hitting the timing quite right, and so I wasn't comfortable to use it in combat.
I'm gonna tell you right now, don't play this game on keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
'Cause that makes dashing rapidly a nightmare.
Unless you want to try to get the so in that dash room we were in earlier, there's a hidden costume if you dash 800 times. And if you just put the mouse in the middle, just put the mouse somewhere. Because you were saying, and I discovered after playing it, that a dash where there's like a cursor, almost like a twin stick shooter, and that's where you will dash to regardless of where you're facing. So you can just kind of set the cursor and then just tap the space bar in rhythm 800 times in a row. Boom, easy costume. I may have done that.
I think people are saying it's like if you get a 124 BPM song, you just do it double time and it's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, this I had first had to play this game on keyboard and mouse, and it's an absolute nightmare. Because you're saying the way the cursor works with the game, or like when you dash, it's towards the cursor relative to the character as opposed to kind of like an absolute position. It's really, really messy.
Yeah.
A controller is definitely the way to go.
I would agree with that. I played on a DualShock 4. Did you play on a DualShock 4 as well?
I played on the Xbox 360 wired controller.
Okay, so depending on your setup, you can get it working either way.
Yeah.
Again, should be noted that if you don't want to fight with that on a PC, console versions are in the works for both, I believe, Xbox One and PS4. So this is now we're off to the west, and I guess I'm looking for some invisible platforms because that is a thing on occasion. And this is again later save. Going back to this area, I've already completed it at this point, but there's a chance to show off some of the more advanced combat techniques after I had unlocked them. Here we can. This is a good area to kind of take a look at the bomb after I'm dead.
Something to note there is that you get very little invincibility after you're hit. So you can't use the common technique of get hit and then kind of dash through everything and you'll be okay. It's not much. That bomb that's a really nice bomb.
Yep, it's real nice on these guys. Let me tell you. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. There's a lot of the things you would expect, like maybe a little bit of stun on them after you finish. It doesn't really do that. You gotta be ready to get out of there pretty much instantaneously after you finish getting your hits in.
Yeah, and I feel like in that sense, a Dark Souls comparison is somewhat notable. Not to say that Dark Souls is the first one to do it, but kind of like that mechanism and how that fits in the rest of the combat feels very similar. Mm-hmm. And that like you can't rely on these old mechanisms that used to before, that kind of gave you some breathing room to work with.
Yeah. It's a lot of like subversion of expectation there.
Yeah.
Here we go with another nice little secret area that takes you to some more sweet money, which I already found.
It's pretty nice to see that the character is bleeding right here when you're low on health. A nice touch.
A nice touch, but also distressing.
Yes. And I think, doesn't it vibrate your controller?
I had vibrate.
To the heartbeat?
I often turn vibrate off on PC because just it usually doesn't work anyways. So just don't bother.
I think it does.
That's cool. That's a nice touch.
Yeah.
I'm never one who is anti touches like that, but just have a hard time getting them to work oftentimes with the DualShock 4, which is my only controller of option on the PC at this time. So
it's funny with all the Xbox paraphernalia you have. A wired controller is not one of them.
Yep. Somehow that just never happened. I don't know why.
This game is we haven't showed footage of a boss yet, but notice like just traversing through the level, you lost 3 health bars for free.
Yep.
And I think this game is really good at keeping you on your toes, and there's never really a time you can chill out for a bit.
Right. Health packs are rare enough, and you have like a low enough pool of health that health management is always going to be a thing.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you'll have an excess amount of med kits to pick up. Sometimes you'll have none. We both mentioned that there are spots where we were stuck at a spot where we were super low in health, and we had to move forward with no medkits in sight, or we had to walk all the way back, heal up, and then walk through the whole thing again. Which brings back to another point that this game will respawn mobs.
Yeah.
If you leave the dungeon.
So if you wanted to leave, like if you left and went, say, back to town and came back, and you could get more health packs that way, but you also have to refight your way through all the monsters. So it's this very careful dance of trade-offs.
Yeah. It's brutal.
Yep. It's real tough.
When I first ran into that, I was kind of peeved. But I think that really just forced you to get much better at the combat.
Yeah.
I think that's a really rewarding feeling too.
Yeah. I would say that it's a difficult game, but I would not say it's like an impossible game by any stretch. It's if you pay attention and try to learn from your mistakes, or learn by getting popped by somebody once or twice, you're like, oh, okay, that's not going to work.
Yeah. There are a lot of times where I had to put the controller down and really think through a conflict after dying there for a good 5 minutes.
Those dog guys are a nightmare. I always got tagged by them all the time.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, not much else to say about the comments. It's just really rewarding when you get it right, and it's really punishing when you're just starting out.
Yeah.
You feel powerless.
Yeah.
You go from like full health to death in a span of like 20 seconds. Oh, not even 20 seconds. It's like 5.
Yeah. It can turn on its head in a big hurry. And then there's these nasty traps like these stupid crystals that'll ruin your day the first time you run across them a few times.
Like right here, you're kind of running a little bit low on health.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is going to be a death right here. This is another one of those. This is a real tough room. Actually, that's even in a later game when you've got better abilities and you know what you're doing. Like there, I just waltzed in. I didn't realize how low my health was as I was going in, and it's like, oh, I'm trapped in here now, and it's not gonna go well.
I like that this game doesn't. It never really ups your damage per hit. It gives you more ways to deal damage instead. Nice.
Yeah. Like different types of attacks rather than like a necessarily like air quotes better attack. Yeah,
because I think a lot of this game, the combat would be kind of taken away if you had maybe like a sword damage upgrade.
Yeah,
be a little lame. Because I think the way the health for the monsters are in this game is very deliberate. They have specifically that much health because it takes like when you fight them, like their attack timing is geared specifically towards how much health they have and how many hits it takes for you to kill them.
Yeah.
Like for example, like the regular green guys that you're fighting here, ignore the fact that the spirit guys are making your life a nightmare. It takes 3 hits to hit. That's about the duration of full combo. I noticed that if you get the jump on them and you did the 3-hit combo, your combo finishes a little before their attack animation finishes up and they hit you. If they get the jump on you and you still go for the 3-hit combo, then the timing is really, really tight, and either you might hit first or they might hit before your combo's finished and you get easy damage.
Yeah.
Or easy damage off of you. And so I think that's really, really smart, and I'm really, really impressed with the amount of thought that they had for this. I'm not sure if that's the way with your Souls games. I would imagine it's somewhat similar, but I think the variance is so much more in that game because you have different attack strengths and all that.
Yeah, and like, you level up in a way that, you go back to an area with easy monsters and you can just run them over, no problem. Whereas here, like, a lot of the strategy of an encounter is built into even how many enemies there are and stuff like that. So, yeah, the combat in this game is real good, and so is the rest of it. I think it's pretty damn solid game.
Yeah, it's a really solid game. Had a lot of fun with it. I haven't found all the secrets yet. I'll definitely want to come back to it sometime. Maybe when we don't have April as like a triple decker deal on us.
Yeah, a lot of stuff coming out. But yeah, I'd love to go back to it as well and see if I can find everything or close to everything. And
yeah, there's still a lot of stuff we haven't found. A lot of the story we haven't really pieced together solidly. Still some places we actually haven't seen.
Yep, there's screenshots just on the developer website where I was like, I've never seen that. So there's still stuff to find, man. Place to go.
I haven't followed the Kickstarter, so I'm not sure if there's any future release slated for this. It'd be awesome if there's some kind of DLC, but I doubt it.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it's done. I would be surprised to see DLC, but certainly wouldn't be opposed.
Some kind of maybe like a boss rush mode or something like that to kind of really test your skills to the upper limit.
And there is New Game Plus as well, which I might dip into just to check out and see what if anything is different in that. I have no idea. But yep. Guess that's Hyper Light Drifter. It's going for $20 on Steam.
Yeah, I think the sale ended.
Yeah,
so
it was on
full price.
On sale for the first week. It's $20 now. It's on PC now. It's coming to PS4 and Xbox One down the line. And
the soundtrack's going up for sale now, right? Did you grab that yet?
It's actually got pushed back to the 12th. So as of recording, I do not have it yet. I checked earlier today, but no such luck. Anyways, thanks, Justin, as always.
Awesome, thank you. It's the first time on this thing.
Yeah,
it's kind of neat.
We'll have to try to get you on some more of these. And thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next time with more cool games.